If your gas oven never heats up or is taking a very long time to heat up, then it might be the gas oven igniter. Now, almost all gas ovens have something very similar to this. This model here is for a GE. I'll actually link it in the description below. What the gas igniter actually does is electricity is sent into the coil, and the coil right here is going to get red hot, somewhere between 500 and 800 degrees. That is hot enough to ignite that gas. Okay, step one is we're gonna need to pull this oven off the wall. Now keep in mind, sometimes your oven is going to have a safety tilt bar connected to the back. If that's hooked up, you're gonna need to remove that first. So we'll go ahead and pull the oven away from the wall. Step two is going to be remove the plug from the outlet on the wall. We won't need electrical power for today's troubleshooting or replacement. Now you'll notice that we do have our gas line still hooked up. I'm going to go ahead and leave mine on. If you feel comfortable or need to change your gas line, remember that once you do disconnect these gas lines to your oven, they do require replacement. They are one-time use. So please make sure you have a new gas line ready to go if you do disconnect that. Okay, the next step is going to be remove all these fasteners, and we're going to remove this back cover from the oven so we can gain access to the component and the wiring. And now that we have access to our wiring and components, we need to locate our oven igniter. Now I do have a dual oven here, so I'm going to have more than one igniter, but I know that it's my top oven that's not working, so it should be somewhere up high. Most likely you're going to find an opening like this, maybe a circle or square, but it will have two wires coming out into a connector. That's most likely your glow plug. If you need to, you can open up the front and follow the glow plug wiring to the connector in the back just to be sure. Now, I know that on the GE oven, it's two small white wires like this that are coming out into a 3-prong connector. Now I have retrofitted my connector with Wigos because they're a little bit more solid. Now we've got our meter and we've set it to the resistance range. We can test it. Touching both leads together, we're getting 0.2, so our meter is working. Now we've found the connector. What you're going to want to do is disconnect your connector, whatever it is, isolating just the igniter by itself. So in my case, I'll open up my Wago connectors and remove my wires. Now that I've got my two wires exposed, again, yours may be in a connector and you'll just have to access each side of the metal pin in your connector itself. So touching one wire to each lead, doesn't matter which color goes where. You can check your resistance level on your meter. Now a good oven igniter should be around 50 to 200 ohms. I'm getting 0.7 mega ohms, so way too high. That means that this igniter is in fact bad and is electrically open, so it needs replaced. Okay, the next step is going to be to remove the old oven igniter itself. As you can see, we've made it over to the front of the oven. Now keep in mind, ovens are all slightly different, so access to your oven igniter may be slightly different. For mine, the first step is to remove, of course, the metal grate. Next, I need to access the glow plug, which is underneath my drip pan here. Most ovens are going to have a few fasteners in the back. Matter of fact, you can see one of mine there, and there's the other. We're just going to need to remove those two fasteners. Now that the fasteners are removed, we should be able to just carefully lift up and pull out the drip pan. Next, you have the burner cover here. Mine has 3 fasteners in the front. Again, yours may vary by model. So we'll go ahead and pull that off. As you can see, there is our igniter right there. And what that does is heat up really hot. The gas coming out of this tube right here, once this gets hot enough, ignites. So if this is not working, of course that gas will never ignite. It shuts off the gate valves and cuts off gas flow altogether, and your oven will never heat up. So we'll go ahead and replace this. Now most of them are held on by 1 or 2 fasteners. Mine are on the back side. Once the glow plug is unfastened, you simply remove it. Now remember, we have it disconnected on the back already, so we'll just pull that through the hole. Okay, we've got the new gas igniter as well as the old one here side by side for a quick comparison so you can kind of see with them out of the oven an easy way to check the resistance on these, and that'll tell you whether they're good or bad. So we'll go ahead and start with the new gas igniter. We'll go ahead and insert 1 lead in each side, doesn't matter which one goes where because this is resistance. We've got our meter set to the ohm setting, which is the horseshoe or the omega. And as you can see, we've got 58.1 ohms. Now that's really good. Most new igniters are going to be anywhere from 50 to 200 ohms. We'll go ahead and move on to the old igniter. This is the one we suspect bad. But as you can see, we are getting mega ohms. So this is in fact a bad gas oven igniter. It should be down, like I said, between 50 and 200. If you're getting into the kilo ohms or mega ohms, you can definitely guarantee that that glow plug igniter is bad. Of course, the install is going to be backwards from the removal. So we'll go ahead and install it first, inserting the plug through the hole in the back of the oven so we have access to plug it in. Now that we've got our wires pushed through, we'll go ahead and mount the igniter itself. Next, we'll put the burner cover back on. Next, we'll slide our drip pan back over, fasten that down. And finally, we'll put our shelf back in. Close it up, and let's move back to the back. Okay, we're back at the back of the oven, back at the back. So we're gonna go ahead and hook up our new glow plug to our wiring here. So again, you'll probably have connectors, factory connectors on yours. I've outfitted mine with Wago connections for a tighter fit, but either way works. So I'm just gonna open up my Wagos, connect my two wires, and there you have it. It's all connected and ready to try out. Now that our new oven igniter or glow plug is connected, the last thing we need to do is install our back cover again. Now that we've got our back cover on, we'll go ahead and plug in our oven, and we'll carefully slide the oven back towards the wall. Keep in mind, if you do have that anti-tilt lever, you'll need to install that as well. And of course, the last thing we need to do is turn on the upper oven and see if our new igniter plug has fixed the issue. And there you have it, folks. It's heating up. I can hear that the gas is ignited already, so that's a great sign. So as you can see, it's actually pretty easy to troubleshoot and replace that gas oven igniter. And if you found value in this video, please subscribe to the channel here and watch our next video here.